What makes a man a legend? Is it the blood on his hands? Or the loyalty in his heart? In the midst of Africa's most devastating war, one name became synonymous with fear, courage, and controversy.
You're known as the Black Scorpion. Do you object to this? It's just an ordinary name. My name is Benjamin Adekunle. That's what I know.
Benjamin Adekunle, the Black Scorpion. A man revered by some as a hero and condemned by others as a war criminal. Today, we unveil the truth behind the legend of the Black Scorpion. But fair warning, this is not your average war story. This is the story of a man who became the face of Nigeria's most brutal conflict. A man who loved his country, but left a legacy that still divides it. Stay with me, because the next 5 minutes might just change the way you see history forever. Born on June 26, 1936 in Kaduna, Nigeria, Benjamin Adekunle entered the world at a time when his nation was preparing for a seismic shift. Nigeria was on the brink of independence, and like many young men of his generation, Adekunle was eager to shape the future of his country. But Adekunle wasn't just any soldier. He was one of the brightest military minds Nigeria ever produced. Trained at the prestigious Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, he returned to Nigeria just as the nation was grappling with one of its greatest internal threats, the Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War. This war, from 1967 to 1970, tore Nigeria apart. Over 3 million people died, many from starvation. It was a war fought not just with guns, but with propaganda, hunger, and fear. And in the middle of this chaos stood Benjamin Adekunle, the man both praised and cursed for his ruthless tactics. Kunle was a savior. Known as the Black Scorpion for his sting in battle, he led the Third Marine Commando Division, the unit responsible for some of the most strategic victories of the war. His amphibious assaults, capturing key territories like Port Harcourt, were hailed as genius military maneuvers. He turned the tide of war in favor of the Nigerian government, and without him, many believe the Biafran forces would have successfully seceded, tearing the nation apart forever. But here's where the story gets darker. Adekunle was also accused of using starvation as a weapon. His blockade of food supplies into Biafra is believed to have contributed to the deaths of countless civilians, especially children. His name became a symbol of terror for many Igbos, the ethnic group fighting for independence. Some call it strategy, others call it genocide. So, which is it? A necessary evil for the greater good, or the mark of a brutal war criminal? Adekunle himself was unapologetic. In interviews, he spoke with calm confidence, defending his choices as necessary for the survival of Nigeria. "I didn't start this war," he once said, "but I have a war I must win." To him, the survival of a united Nigeria was worth any price, even the lives lost on the battlefield. But can you blame a man for doing what he believed was his duty to his country? Or should he have drawn the line somewhere? His supporters, many of whom served under him, speak of his tactical brilliance and his fierce love for Nigeria.
In the army, there are some who are fighters, some are barrack officers. We know each other, but he is an example of a true soldier.
He was a fearless warrior, they say, a man who kept Nigeria united when others would have let it fall apart. But then, there are the voices of those who suffered, the families of the dead, the children who starved, the civilians caught in the crossfire. They don't see Adekunle as a hero. To them, he is a monster, a man whose hands are stained with the blood of innocents. People are drawn to power, to figures who represent strength in times of chaos. It's why soldiers followed Adekunle so loyally. It's why, even today, some Nigerians speak of him with awe. But power also breeds fear. And fear, when it turns into desperation, can lead to brutal decisions. Decisions that can haunt a man's legacy forever. So, was Adekunle a man who simply embodied the harsh realities of war? Or was he a victim of the very fear he instilled in others? As Nigeria continues to grapple with its identity, the shadow of Benjamin Adekunle still looms large. To some, he is a national hero, a man who fought for the survival of his country. To others, he is a war criminal, whose tactics were as deadly as the enemies he fought. But one thing is clear, Adekunle's legacy is not one that can be easily forgotten. He is both a product of his time and a figure who transcends it, embodying the complexities of war, power, and human nature. In the end, Benjamin Adekunle's story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about leadership, war, and the price of national unity. Is it possible to be both a hero and a villain? Can a man's actions be justified by the outcome, or do the means forever taint the result? Perhaps the answer lies not in the history books, but in the hearts of those who lived through the war. What do you think? Was the Black Scorpion a savior or a destroyer? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that challenge the way we see the world. If this video opened your eyes to a new perspective on one of Nigeria's most controversial figures, make sure to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most polarizing leaders.
The solemn songs from the choir echo through the land.